Donald Trump is just inching closer and closer to being Adolf Hitler every single day. In fact, J.D. Vance back in 2016 was right. Is Donald Trump America's Hitler? And I think the answer, based on Donald Trump's own rhetoric, is hell yeah. During a recent interview with right-wing radio host Hugh Hewitt, Donald Trump suggested that there are some immigrants coming into this country who have what Trump calls bad genes. Here is what Donald Trump said. And for the record, let's just get this out there. Hugh Hewitt didn't ask about immigration. Hugh Hewitt had asked Donald Trump a question about Kamala Harris wanting to give a $25,000 grant to first-time home buyers and to home builders, to help with housing. This is a question about giving Americans money for houses. And Trump, after addressing that briefly, then went into this. How about allowing people to come to an open border, 13,000 of which were murderers, many of them murdered far more than one person, and they're now happily living in the United States? Now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes. And we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now. They had 425,000 people come into our country that shouldn't be here that are criminals. And, one of the worst has 325,000 young children are missing. Can you imagine if that was Biden? No. Can you imagine if that was Trump? Well, first of all, most of that didn't make any sense. And those 425,000, 320, he just made those numbers up. He just made them up. Also, for the record, those 13,000 murderers that came into the country, that's over decades. Right? That's the fact check on that, by the way, in case you haven't seen it. It's not under President Biden. They came in during Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, other Bush. It goes back decades. And the media has done a real horrible job of letting people know that that's actually what was in that ICE report. But Hugh Hewitt didn't push back on it. No, he simply said, "It's astonishing what has happened. I can't believe anyone is going to vote for them. Now I want to turn to the campaign and I want to turn to Jack Smith." So Hugh Hewitt, who's not a moron, knows that Donald Trump was lying about that. He knows that that wasn't the question, but more importantly, he knows he is borrowing a page straight out of Mein Kampf where Donald Trump is talking about some people just have bad genes, right? That's what makes them bad people, bad genetics. So we have now entered Nazi Germany, folks. It's the same type of rhetoric Hitler used to describe Jewish people or handicapped people, disabled people. So that's where we're at with today's modern Republican Party, and not a single bit of pushback from Hugh Hewitt. On the other hand, on CNN, you did have Republican strategist Lonnie Chen, who said this. This is an example of an issue where Trump would have the opportunity to have an advantage, which is immigration, but comments like this are certainly not useful in driving that advantage. So I guess that's a condemnation, like, this isn't useful. No, it's downright Hitlerian. That's what it is. It's not useful. It is hateful. It is teaching people to hate other people based on their genetics, or actually their perceived genetics. That's what this is. So I'm glad you think it's not useful, but hateful and bigoted would have probably been a better way to describe it.